why the Bears are leaving Chicago. Okay, first of all, it's not guaranteed. I'd say it's by 75-25 they are leaving, but the McCaskies own 326 acres, Arlington Heights, which is a beautiful area. There's a racetrack. They own it. So here's the thing. Hammond, Indiana may get the Bears right over the border. It is 27 miles from where I sit right now. Arlington Heights is 26 miles. I'm right in between them, and I'm in downtown Chicago. They're not moving the thing to Indianapolis, and they're not changing the name. I mean, we know the Raiders left California. We know the Rams left St. Louis. We know the Chiefs are moving to a different state. It's happening all over sports. This is the key facet here to remember. Billionaires are not equal. They just sound rich. The McCaskies, there are only two ownership groups that are poor in the league. The Bengals and Steelers, and we lampoon both. We look at the Bengals and Steelers and we're like, spend money on the right side of the ball. They don't operate like big league teams. Steve Ballmer has a $140 billion net worth. The Bears owners have a $1.3 billion. That is it. The Waltons that own the Broncos have a net worth that is 100 times higher than the McCaskies. Right? So what's that mean? The McCaskies and their 11 kids, they're going to take the best deal financially because they have to. This is not Steve Ballmer that built the Intuit Arena in L.A. entirely by himself. So I'm just going to build it. And I mean, they spent a fortune on it. That's not what we have here. We got 11 kids, a tiny, barely billionaires, 1.3 billion net worth. They're going to do what's best for the family, and they have to be viable going forward. Now, obviously, Arlington Heights is where you want to have it. But that's the real story here. Don't blame the governor. The governor's basically saying what Rahm Emanuel said, the former mayor of Chicago, which is, I'm not going to let FIFA get a blank check. I'm not going to soak the taxpayers to have soccer games here. Well, what the governor is saying is basically, we're not soaking the taxpayers here. They're billionaires. The problem is the governor's family is significantly richer than the McCaskies. The Hyatt family, the Pritzker family, the governor of the state of Illinois, that is the fourth richest family in America.
I honestly hate all this kind of stuff. I'll be straight with you. It's just so. I remember when I hit a certain age, I used to think that teams like the Chicago Bears, the Philadelphia Eagles, the Buffalo Bills were just owned by the city itself, you know? Then you grow up and you realize they have these actual owners, and you ask, well, who are the owners? And they say, oh, it's this family that runs a clothing company, and they're billionaires, and they bought the Colts or something. And you're like, wait, what? I don't even understand. And yeah, it's crazy. And look, I asked Chicago Bears fans directly in my other video covering this, how do you guys actually feel about this move? From the ground level, please explain to me how you feel about all of this. And you left comments, and please keep doing that because it helps me understand your real feelings. For whatever reason, this is a less visible situation happening right now. I compared it to what happened with the Sixers, which became almost a national story because it turned into this big cultural thing. There were huge protests. It got really weird really fast, so everyone had very strong, loud opinions. And this is fundamentally different from the Chargers moving to LA or the Rams moving to LA, right? Those kinds of things that Colin brought up. So this is strictly about money, at least from my observation of the whole thing. But before I go any further, please, 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 Chicago Bears fans, don't forg ET to subscribe and watch the full length of the video. When you do that, views go through the roof, subscribers go through the roof. And it's not about chasing views or chasing subscribers. It's about being able to create Bears content that people genuinely want to watch and discuss. So we can keep having the most unbiased, grounded, honest conversations about the Bears. This is a perfect example. I want to be able to understand better how Bears fans feel. I want a video like this to get a lot of views and lots of comments, because then I get to read all the comments and I have such a deeper understanding of how actual Chicago Bears fans feel. Right now, it's actually an uncomfortable spot for me because I'm hearing Colin talk. There have been so many times in the past when Colin will say something, or J-Mac, or any clip I'm reacting to, and I'll think, that's not how Bears fans feel, or that's not how Raiders fans feel. Even the Raiders are a perfect example because it just happened recently. J-Max said, I think the fans want Mendoza to start. And I said, no, they don't. They're totally content and happy with Cousins starting. I could say that confidently because I'm reading all the comments, and there's enough views and a big enough sample size. But right now, I'm actually uncomfortable because I don't feel like I have a strong enough sense of how Bears fans feel about this. I've read a handful of really interesting comments where I thought, okay, this is interesting. But I need more. I need more context. Someone was essentially trying to say the quiet part out loud, speaking in riddles a bit, and I thought, okay, I definitely understand what you're saying, but I'm trying to figure it all out. From the comments I've read, it seems divided. Some Bears fans really don't care at all. Some care a ton. That's what I want to get to the bottom of. That's what I want to understand more deeply. Personally, I look at it through a couple of different lenses. I was thinking about this because there was more I wanted to share. For me, when I was at my rowdiest, having a stadium in a really populated city area where you can have a lot of fun before and after the game, running around and all that, that was fun. Going to a baseball game in Boston or Pittsburgh, the whole scene around it feels really cool. It's a really cool experience. Then you have other stadiums like Lincoln Financial Field in Philly, where they have this complex with multiple stadiums all pushed together. You can see the city, and you're by the city, but you're also nowhere near the city at the same time. Same thing with New York, well, technically New Jersey, where they play. You're technically by the city, but you're not really. And for me, I've reached the point in my life where I want it to be safe, and I want easy access and easy parking. Traffic, parking, and safety matter. I've been to other stadiums where you're walking to the game and it doesn't feel very safe. Growing up, my dad always said, I'm not paying for parking, so we'd park in some pretty interesting areas and just put our heads down and walk really fast to the stadium. Then late at night, trying to get back to the car, it gets a little sketchy and not the most comfortable. So now I just want to feel like I can go to a game and everything is okay, everything is comfortable. Speaking of the Knicks, Madison Square Garden, that's a wild experience, being in the heart of the city at Penn Station. It's an experience, really. So I don't know what the true felt sense was in Chicago, where the stadium is now and where they want to move it. What are some of the problems outside of the money? Because at the end of the day, it does all come down to money. But what problems can be solved with a move? Things they're hoping will improve the fan experience. And what things get worse? What could potentially get worse with the move? That's what I'm personally trying to get to the bottom of. That's what I'm trying to understand. I'm also trying to understand the everyday fan. Something I observed with the chaos around the Sixers is that depending on whether you actually live in the city versus the outskirts and suburbs, you have completely different opinions. If you live in the city, you want to be able to walk to the stadium or hop on a train. It's different. If you're in the suburbs and you have to get on the freeway, it's a different experience. If you're single and 23, trying to party before and after games, versus if you have a wife and kids and you're taking a family of 5 to the game, different experience. I didn't think about safety or parking when I was running around doing whatever I wanted. But now I think, oh, I'm taking my 10-year-old niece to a game or my 9-year-old nephew. I want it to be really easy to get there. I want parking to be easy. I want it to be safe. I want to feel comfortable. You start factoring in all these other things. Honestly, if I were thinking about going to a game and bringing my niece, daughter, son, wife, I don't have any of those except my niece and nephew, I'm just talking about the future, I think to myself, I don't know if I want to run into the city and deal with traffic and all that. Going to a suburb with a big gigantic parking lot, not the suburbs but just a non-downtown area, I want ease. I'm in my old man era. That happens as soon as you have kids in your life, no matter how old you are. You could be 20. As soon as you have kids in your life, nieces, nephews, you're a teacher, whatever, you realize you want things a bit more straightforward, a bit simpler. You want to park your car, get out, go to the stadium. When it's time to go home, you want to just get in your car and drive home. Or even if you're taking a train or public transport, you want it to be simple. That was the other thing with Philly, public transportation wasn't really set up so you could just hop on a train and get where you need to go. It would be a WH. All song and dance. I've been to areas like Boston, where I took the train to the stadium and it was amazing. The way Boston is situated, with city neighborhoods on the outskirts all connected, you just hop on the T, hop on a train, and boom, you're right where you need to be. It was a breeze. So it didn't matter if the stadium was in the outskirts for parking and traffic, public transportation there is amazing. Zero problems. So it depends on the infrastructure itself. I've taken multiple trains and subways to different games in different cities, and they've all been completely different experiences. Minnesota, that train system, I don't know if it's still like this, but when I went there years ago for a tournament, it was so clean and nice. They said, no one even checks tickets here. It's on the honor system. Maybe that's changed, but I couldn't comprehend it. That's not New York. That's not Philly. That's not LA. It's a different experience everywhere. And I think you have to have different experiences in different cities to add that context. And like I said earlier, it also depends on where you live and what stage of life you're at. What's actually important? If you want to have a lot of fun before and after the game, where the stadium is matters. Where you live, outskirts or downtown, all plays a factor. So to me, Colin keeps talking about the miles. It's only 26 miles here. But it's less about that. It's less about the actual travel or the town name. To me, it's all these other factors. That's what I saw firsthand with Philly and the Sixers wanting to move to Chinatown. People were going back and forth. The way I feel is that I think it's cool to have a complex with multiple stadiums all in the same area, becoming its own experience, its own bubble. That's what they have going on a little bit with the Golden State Warriors. That whole area looks awesome. What they're doing in Philly. That experience speaks to me, whether I was running around doing my own thing trying to get a little crazy, or trying to have a nice night or day with my family, niece, nephew, whatever. So that's where my mind goes. But yeah, I don't know. Like I said, I'm still learning about all of this. The way my mind works, I ultimately want what the people want. What the fans want matters to me more than anything. And the way Colin discussed all of this, because I haven't gotten enough comments yet to feel comfortable making any statements, to me, it feels like the fans for the most part are not happy. They don't really want this. That's why Colin is talking about the money, how they have to do this or that, and it feels like it ends up being 100% for the money, and the fans just aren't excited about it. I already talked in the previous video about how all these owners want domes now because they make so much more money. You can have concerts 365 days a year, events in general 365. That still remains true. But the one point Colin made was about the money with a billionaire, th. Difference between 1 billion and 2 billion. It's so hard to comprehend. It's so massive. Just being a billionaire, just having $1 billion, is an insane amount of money. Having $500 million is insane. Now double that to get to $1 billion. So you already have double the insane amount. Now you have $1 billion. Going from 1 billion to 2 billion just feels like, oh, it's just another billion. No, you have another insane amount of wealth. It's impossible to comprehend the difference between 2 billion and 100 billion. The amount of money you're making just off interest alone is so hard to comprehend. I made a video talking about this with Jerry Jones, about rumors of him wanting to do a buyout for Deion Sanders to coach the Cowboys. We did the math on what a buyout would be. I forget the exact numbers, but essentially, if you have $100,000 in your bank account, that would be equivalent to Jerry writing a check for like $500. It's that insane. I would look up those billionaire rice videos, where each grain of rice is $1 million or something. When you look at it through that lens, you just think, what am I even looking at? That's why I roll my eyes at these conversations. People say, oh, they're actually the poorest owners, and the Walmart heirs and the bombers. It's just not a conversation that interests me. When the Knicks just won, they just wanted to show us all the celebrities. Look how happy these rich people are. We're watching game. And they show us nothing but Seinfeld, DJ Khaled, Taylor Swift. This was one of the craziest moments for the Knicks, and for the actual fans who aren't millionaires and billionaires, show me their experience. They just don't want to do that. It's a scary trend. It's why I pushed back so much when the Chiefs and Taylor Swift blew up, because they just wanted to double, triple, quadruple down on that. You see little flavors of that creep in more and more. To me, what has made football and sports as a whole, but especially football, so amazing is that the fans have been the center of it. When you think of a football fan, you immediately think of that shirtless fan in the freezing cold, screaming and going nuts. The everyday person working really hard, waking up early, loving their sport more than anything, whether the team wins every game or loses every game. That's where my mind goes as soon as I think of a football fan. The further we get from that felt sense, that experience, the weirder it gets to me. But those are just my thoughts. I'd absolutely love to hear yours. What do you guys all think? Again, seriously, I would really, really appreciate the comments. You don't have to subscribe. I should have said that in the beginning. You don't have to subscribe. You don't have to watch the full video, although if you're at this point, you clearly have. But please leave comments. I need to know. Honestly, I want to have a better, deeper understanding, and I want it from the ground floor of the fans. That's what I want. I'm trying to still figure this all out and put it together. So let me know your thoughts. I read every single comment, whether you agree with me or disagree. Either way, let's get into some discussions. Let's get into some fights. But ultimately, let's just have some fun. Please do consider subscribing. We're building an amazing community here, and I absolutely love to see you part of it. I want to build something we all generally feel connected to. Something we're really excited to be part of. I think we're well on our way. Please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, it really helps with visibility and the algorithm. Thank you so much. See you next time.